Hello everyone and welcome to another casual review. Today I'm talking about Maneater. No, I will not be singing Hall & Notes today. I thought this game would be a good summer game to play, especially with the upcoming Shark Week, and I'm also feeling an urge to watch Jaws having just played this game. In the game Maneater, you start out as a baby shark. And the story basically starts as you play as the mother of this baby shark, and the mother gets killed by a shark hunter, and the shark hunter cuts the baby shark out of the mom and tosses it into a swamp. And from this beginning, there is a real two-sided Moby Dick kind of story where the hunter is consistently hunting the baby shark and the baby shark is hunting the shark hunter who killed its mom. It's almost like a rags to riches story because as you play through this game as a baby shark, you gather up nutrients and eventually evolve, I guess, different parts of you, and you grow bigger and you eventually become a mega shark. To be honest, I almost quit at the beginning of the game because when you're playing as a baby shark, you can't take on anything. And you're playing in this swampy area, so it's really hard to see very far in front of you, and you don't really know what you're doing or how to play as a shark because you don't have much experience in shark games, really. And it's just like there's a whole leveling system. It's an RPG. I think in the back they call it the world's first shark PG. And so you're starting as level 1 as a baby shark, and basically all you can do is chomp and dodge. And you get more, a couple different techniques available to you later, but there are like alligators in this swamp and they just absolutely decimate you and you can't do any kind of fighting, and it's actually very, very frustrating. So about an hour into this game, I took a break and I thought, I don't know, that game's kind of dumb. I think I'm ready to move on to something else. But I heard about all the cool upgrades you can get later, and everybody online was saying just how easy this game was, and I thought, well, maybe I need to give it another shot. So I invested another 2 hours into it, and I just ate a bunch of the weak fish at first, and you gain experience. And also another really good way to upgrade your character is find collectibles that are hidden throughout the area. So these come in the forms of like these nutrient boxes that you can find, or these special landmarks, or these license plates. And when you find these objects, you get a lot of experience and nutrients in order to upgrade your shark. So if you first start out this game, I definitely recommend to get a couple upgrades, maybe turn into a teenager shark before you write this game off, because it can be very frustrating at the beginning as a baby shark and alligators are chomping you to bits. That being said, once you get to the point where you get a couple upgrades, you become a teenager shark and then an adult shark, you really start to feel powerful, almost to the point where this game is incredibly easy. Now, you can get different upgrades. I wish there was more variety of upgrades that you can find, but the upgrades mostly consist of, hey, if you get this upgrade, then you'll get more of this nutrient whenever you eat a fish. Or, hey, if you get this upgrade, then you can grow bone armor on different parts of your body. And then eventually you can get electric armor on certain parts of your body as well. And especially once you become a mega shark, this game is so incredibly easy. It's almost like a background game where you need to be listening to a podcast or something while you're playing through it. It's not really the type of game that I could see myself playing in long bursts on its own, but it's something that just to keep your fingers and your mind busy while you're watching a TV show or listening to a podcast. And that's where I think this game really shines, because to be honest, a lot of this gameplay is fairly repetitive and it doesn't require much thought. It's basically like, go find all of these collectibles in the water, and go eat 10 humans, go eat 10 seals, go fight this orca whale. It's just like little quests like that don't require much thought. Now, if you're the type of person who's a completionist and you just love checking things off your list, I think that you actually would get a lot out of this game because, like I said, it starts you out in the swamp. So you get all the collectibles in the swamp, you kill all the predators in the swamp, and then you upgrade to like a little golf course where the waters are a little cleaner, and you do all the collectibles in there and do all the little side quest objectives there. Then you move on to bigger waters, and then eventually you make your way out into the ocean. So you see that progression in the area around you and your own shark getting bigger and looking cooler and feeling more powerful as you just check these items off of your list. Now, there is humor to this game as well. The whole thing, the cutscenes are shot like almost like a show on the Discovery Channel. It's all narrated by Chris Parnell. He's the voice of Jerry from Rick and Morty. And so like whenever you find one of these landmarks, it's usually something kind of silly, like just off the top of my head, let's just say you'll see like a Volkswagen van or something submerged deep into the water, and then Chris Parnell will make some small reference to Scooby-Doo or something like that. That's not really in the game. I was just trying to make up some example because I can't think of any off the top of my head. But in that similar vein, sometimes they're like references, sometimes they're just funny little quips about the government and politics. If you do find these chests full of nutrients, he'll tell you like some little fact about sharks that you may not have known. Now, the combat in this game is fairly mindless, but it can be a little frustrating. So basically you can bite things, you just press that trigger button to bite, and if they are a lower level than you, then you can grab them and start thrashing them around like a shark would. On top of that, you also have like a tail whip where you hit things with your tail. I always forgot to use this. You also have a little dash forward, and then you have a dodge. And if you are lower level, you really need to practice doing this dodge. You look at the enemy pattern right when the alligator's about to strike, you dodge out of the way, and then you can get a couple bites in at the alligator. Now, maybe like a fourth way into the game, you really don't need to worry about any of that. As long as you'll feel so overpowered, you can just chomp away at people, and if you get attacked, it's like, who cares? You know, it's not going to do much damage, especially if you've been keeping up with your upgrades. So as long as you keep the camera on the enemy and keep hitting that bite button, you're going to take it down eventually, especially if you have the electric teeth, because that has a chance of stunning the enemy. So they're not going to fight back. They're not going to move. You just keep pointing that camera at the enemy and chomping away. Now, I did find myself fighting the camera a lot. The camera kind of had a mind of its own, almost like the camera thought it knew better what to look at than I did. And this was especially true when you would go up onto land. Now, sometimes you're going to need to launch yourself out of the water and you flop around on the land, and that's how you eat a lot of the humans that aren't near the water. You're going to have a limited amount of time up on the air before you start to drown and need to find your way back into the water. And so sometimes it's like, I'm just going to stay on the land as much as I can. I don't care if I'm losing on health and drowning. I need to eat more people because it's so hard to get to them sometimes. But it's like the camera keeps wanting to turn around 180 degrees and force me to go back into the water. So not only am I trying to get to these humans that are running away as I'm flopping around on land, but the camera also is trying to force me to go back in the water, which can be a little frustrating. Sometimes when you're underwater and you're fighting an enemy underwater, you'll miss them as you go to bite them, and then you have to turn the camera around because you're looking completely the opposite direction. I wish there was some sort of lock-on system that forced the camera to look at the target. But as you play, as you give this a couple hours, you eventually do get used to the combat and the camera controls. But just another reason why I got frustrated the first time I picked this game up. I also think it would be beneficial if quests had some kind of recommended level, especially at the beginning of the game, because I swear, as you go against this apex alligator who's like level 20 and you're level 1, and in my mind, I'm thinking that I had to take down this alligator before I can progress any further, but that's not really the case. So I wish it said in the quest menu, like, hey, don't even try to do this quest until level 20. Again, this isn't an issue as you go further into the game and everything becomes mind-numbingly easy, but at the beginning of the game, I would have appreciated a little more guidance as to what I should be doing. Now, I played this game on the PlayStation 4, and the performance left something to be desired, to put it lightly. Basically, it would get so laggy, especially at the end of the game when there's a ton of fish going around and I'm going against a bunch of shark hunters and I'm using sonar and all these abilities. It would chug hard. Like, it struggled to run this game. So I'm curious, because I think this game got a port to the Nintendo Switch if I'm not mistaken, and so I gotta wonder how in the heck this game runs on a Nintendo Switch, because my PlayStation 4 struggled. I'd encounter a lot of glitches, nothing too game breaking, but like sometimes when you knock the shark hunters off the boat, they'll be like floating as if they were in the water, but they're floating like 5 feet up into the air. Or like sometimes my shark would get stuck on areas on the land, and just like little things like that. But the game did crash on me, I want to say 2 or 3 times as well. So maybe look for this game on a PlayStation 5 or a gaming computer if you want a stress-free experience playing this game. So yeah, overall, it's a game where you play as a baby shark and upgrade yourself into a giant mega shark. It's a rags to riches story, and your job is to basically just swim around and eat anything that comes in your path. While the gameplay was pretty simple, that's just the mind of a shark. A shark has a simple mind, you know? You just go and you eat stuff, and it was a short enough experience that I never felt too burnt out playing it either. It took me maybe like 5 or 6 hours. Maybe if you're completionist, you'd have a good time playing this game for 10 or 11 hours before you found everything. And to be honest, I'm kind of here for it. I just wanted to play a shark game for Shark Week in the summer, and this game delivered on it. It was so satisfying upgrading my baby shark to become a mega shark that is impossible to destroy. I think I'll give this game a 3 out of 5. While it does have some major problems, I did ultimately have a fun time playing it. It kind of reminded me of these online free flash games I used to play growing up, like addictinggames.com, where a lot of the concept for these games is you're just playing as a monster or something, and you're eating people, and then you're spending those resources on upgrading your character. This is like a more fleshed out version of those online free-to-play flash games that I used to play in the past. And to be honest, I'm here for it. Well guys, that's it for me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about Maneater, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye!